What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Sue. How are you doing? Welcome back to the THINKSPACE podcast. My audio is not as clean and crispy as it typically is. I am currently on the go, on the road, and I know my team is already going to be like, Summan, this is not the vibe for the audio that we usually love. But just know I am acknowledging it, but I promise the wisdom is going to be the same. So this week, we are going to have a small little touch base about discernment. It's going to be a little mini solo cast about something that is just so truly on my heart. The concept and the reality and the knowingness of discernment has been on my heart for quite some time. So let's get into it. So let's get started with what is discernment in the first place and why am I talking about it? So discernment is the keen ability to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly, often distinguishing subtle differences between truth and error or right and wrong. It involves careful, insightful judgment, whether moral, spiritual, or practical, to make informed decisions. It is crucial for recognizing nuance and acting with wisdom. So discernment is a huge thing for me, and I'll tell you why. I believe as our world becomes more and more artificial and more in ways fake, the fight for authenticity is such a unique fight. And a part of that authenticity and that hurdle to getting to it or capturing it or digesting it and really savoring it is your ability to discern. But how can you really discern the world around you if you cannot discern the world within you? And that is where I really believe in intuitive discernment, being able to understand the nuanced differences and shifts within yourself and be able to look at them in a subjective way, right? Not be so insanely enmeshed with our own thoughts, behaviors, or patterns that we actually have a fighting chance to grow and thrive. One of the reasons I was really called to talk about discernment is because of all of the things that we are seeing in the world. And there's things that I feel like I haven't fully figured out personally. I'm going to keep it super 100 with you. I haven't fully decided how honest I want to be about some of my thoughts. And a part of that is because I think whenever you're putting yourself out there, there is a huge fear of how will I be perceived and how will I be judged? And I am perceived and judged right now in this moment. You are perceiving and judging me. You're like, yeah, do I still want to listen to this bitch speak about discernment? But there's a thing when you put your real opinion in a timely manner on the internet, and my opinion may change, who knows? But all that aside, there is stuff in the news where, there are spiritual leaders, there are people who are really getting called out for how they live out of alignment with what they share. Now, that is something I could talk about for hours and dissect and have a huge debate with you on. But I'm going to park that. And I'm going to go into this other part where if we were thinking about the people that we listen to online, we have to remember that as much as we are receiving their goodness and their graciousness and their expansion, we are also discerning and siphoning through their shadow. So I'm going to tell you a story that is really personal, but it matters because it's very timely. So a couple months ago, I want to say almost a year ago now. A couple months ago is a year ago. A year ago, I was in this coaching container and I really loved being in this coaching container. The woman who was teaching the course, I was so drawn to her and she felt so intuitively guided. I felt like I was so extremely grateful to be in her space and her presence. But what I didn't know at the time was what was triggered within my shadow, right? And so whatever, I'm going on, I'm in this container, and I'm in this container like 8 months. And this space was a lot about learning the energetics and the mindset and the philosophies around money and finances in the non practical way. So what I mean by that is, you're going to go to Ramit Sethi, you're going to go to Vivian Wu, you're going to go to all these other people. When you want, you're going to go to Gina Judge when you want practical financial stuff, right? Like how am I materializing my finances in the real world? How am I making money in Canada, US, Europe, all that kind of stuff, whatever. Um, this conversation with her was much more about our emotional, mental, somatic relationship with money. And I had so many clients who, we always go back to this money conversation, which how could we not, right? Money is something that we all think and talk about and exchange every single day in our lives. Like, how could we not have a relationship with it? We all do, whether we want to talk about it or not. And so I was also going through my own shit with this. And I was like, I could only support people as deep as I have met myself. So, I'm going there, I'm meeting myself deep. And in the time that I was in her container, she ended up becoming extremely religious. And that is not a good nor bad thing. It's her prerogative, it's her life. And through that period, I learned a lot about the shadow part of me that was connecting to the shadow part of her. And it took the beliefs being different to expose the shadow. And so the shadow that was coming up for me was pedestaling. And for a long time, now I'm a 90s baby, okay? For a long time, I grew up in a very hierarchical, y'all know what I'm saying. Hierarchical, I just can't. I kind of don't even know how to say it. Um, y'all know what I'm saying. I grew up in that type of model, the model where there is a leader, everyone who is below the leader, the people below the leader no less than the leader, versus now we are in a lot of different rooms where, we are learning from each other. We're moving as groups, we're moving as units. And of course, there's leaders, but I can learn something from somebody older than me, younger than me, somebody who's been rinsed in the system for 10 years, somebody who just got in. Like, we can clearly see now the multitude of value that everyone in the system provides. That being said, of course, you need the leader to guide the way. Anyways, so as this shadow of the pedestal was being revealed to me, oh my God, was it ever crumbling within me? And I was having such a hard time with myself where I was like, oh my God, how did I not discern that this person is the living shadow mirror for me to recognize this pedestaling behavior? And, whatever, time goes on, and there's this one session, and something ends up being said where I was like, whoa, like, you have been dethroned, my girl. And I literally got out of that space then and there. Doesn't mean that what she taught me wasn't incredibly valuable, but my time in there was done. I was able to discern at that time so friggin' clearly that this is not for me. And I share that story because the lessons that I've learned in that story are monumental. One, that shadow was a shadow for me to learn no matter what, and where I learned it was going to be powerful. Like, I was like, holy shit, I could get fucking sucked up in a cult. I was like, what the heck was going on if I didn't have discernment, right? And then I look at everything that's happening online, and I'm sorry, I know that this podcast is a little disjointed, so I hope that you're sticking with me. But then I look at what's happening online, and I just think there has to be so much discernment within the self to know how to maneuver the world today. So I want to give you some resources on how to resource yourself with discernment. Number one, do not shame yourself. Do not shame yourself for the moment that you are able to discern, like I did, right? In that moment where I was like, oh man, I've been in here for 8 months and like now I'm discerning, but I had little prickles, you know? Before that, there were little prickles that was like, pedestally, oh, this person is not the vibe. But I wasn't able to discern at the time. So I put myself in a little shame spiral. But what that shame spiral did is it kept me stuck. So when you do come into alignment or into visibility with your discernment, with that part of you that knows, you can see. It's like, when you look at somebody, and the best way to describe it is like, let's say you're dating somebody and then you stop dating this person and you can just see them differently. The person that you're looking to is no longer the person that you once looked at. That is like the experience of discerning. You know now, right? You know better, you know differently, so you perceive differently. And so when you come into that moment of clarity, if there is shame, allow it to be processed, but do not live there. Do not live there. And how you can start to develop your skill of discernment is by creating a relationship with your body. Now, I had asked on my Instagram if people knew what I meant when I say create a relationship with your body. And I got a lot of people who said they don't. And that's beautiful because, oh my God, I am jealous. When I learned about connecting with my body, I was like, my body, my body. I did not even know what I was missing out on. Holy smokes. So I am so excited for you if you are at the early stages of learning how to connect with your body, because your life is going to freaking form. And anybody here who is in a deeper relationship with their body and with their body's intelligence, I know you know what I am saying. But these can also apply to you. I think we all love a little good reminder and we all love opportunities to deepen our practice. So number two is when you're out of the shame or whatever comes up for you, I want you to practice putting your hand on your heart and connecting with your body, like feeling your heartbeat. When you're eating, practice eating slower. Can you get through a meal without watching anything or talking to somebody or scrolling? Can you just be present with your food? When you're drinking water, smelling or drinking your coffee, can you smell your coffee? Can you feel the water go down your throat? These are all little sensational cues that can help you connect to the physicality of your body and then the sensations that your body creates. And then you can deepen that practice by asking your body subtle questions. How do you want to move today? What feels good right now? And you'll notice the difference between receiving the message from your mind and receiving the message from your body. Even another beautiful one I love to ask is I love to sit and ask, where do you want me to breathe into right now? And right now, as I just said that, it's my knees. My knees have been hurting. So if anyone knows any good knee exercises, if I have any physiotherapists here, please holler at your girl. But yeah, start asking your body and creating a dialogue with your body. What that will do is it will start to show your body that you are aware of it. And when I say show your body you are aware of it, you are treating your body as a vessel. So, in my belief, um, I believe that we are souls and spirits that occupy these bodies, and our body is our vessel, and our body is our home. And so it's our responsibility to take care of our home, to nurture our home, to love on our home, and to also tune into our home. We are such magical beings, right? We are like, my best friend just had a baby, and I look at that little boy and I'm just like, you are creation. Like you are literal creation, and there's so much that you are intuitively doing that we don't even know. We don't even have conscious awareness of it, right? And so when you are disconnected from your body, we think about it. We spend so much time in our head. And if we were to look at that, like, if you took the whole body and you just colored in the head, that's like 1/5 of your body. You know what I mean? Imagine connecting to the rest of your body and using that body to grow, heal, thrive, experience life. And I think a lot of us are afraid of this because we felt a lot of sensations or have felt a lot of lack of sensation in our body, which has made us confused over time on, well, I don't want to feel that. Well, I don't want to experience that. Well, I don't actually experience anything when that happens. So that reintegration part with our body is a very different journey for everybody. And some people are going to be at places where, you're going to need trauma therapeutic support for that. Other people are in spaces where, they can start to integrate that on their own. Other people are places where, hey, now maybe I can coach with this in a safe place because I trust myself. I have tools, and I also trust somebody who has tools. So there's that in itself, knowing, is your experience with your intuition, right? So when you connect to your body's intelligence, then you are connecting with all of you. And you're connecting with this vessel that is carrying you forward and has been with you everywhere through your life, which its ability to discern what is right for you and what is wrong for you is so clear. It's like when you meet somebody, you go to a party, you meet your friend's friend, and something in your body's like, hell no. That is discernment. Or when you are out and you see somebody and you're like, oh my God, you feel so good. That is discernment, right? Regardless of where those two land, those are lessons in lives and karmas. So we'll leave that at that. But all right, guys, that's what I have for you today. I want you to just take this with you into your day and ask yourself, how can I discern a little clearer today? How can I invite clarity and intuition into my day and onto my path? I absolutely cherish all of you guys. I just want to say that I had so much feedback from my solo cast, and I just relish in it. Oh my God, I feel so lucky. If you guys have any questions about discernment, please DM me on Instagram at I am Summan Kandola. I would love the opportunity to chat through this with you because I think this is a skill that we all really, really need to work on, and strengthen and deepen as we move forward in life. All right, crush it this week. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to dive a little bit deeper with the family over here at ThinkSpace and Self-Hired, connect with me on social at I am Summan Kandola. That's IAMSUMMANKANDOLA on Instagram, as well as Self-Hired on Instagram. Send this to a friend. You have no idea how much it helps the show grow, and it's honestly one of the best ways to get deep with somebody that you know and love. Hit us with a subscribe on YouTube for the visual experience, and be sure to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to now. It helps the show grow significantly. As well as, if you have some thoughts, leave us a review and take the conversation to the next level by DMing me. I love hearing your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys. I love you, and I'll see you next time.